5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome, what for? Train on the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the champions here.
Good morning, everybody. Mike is on. Mike is on first thing. That's the applause. That's what the applause is for, man. Yeah, happy Friday. As happy as it can be. You know, I was going to do Fun Time Friday. I'm your host, Jeremiah Bannister. We normally have fun here at Paleocrat Diaries. Okay, and we are going to have fun. In fact, as much as it pains me to do this, we are still going to begin with the happy fun stories. I was told that yesterday it was a lot, you know, but there's a lot going on in the world. You know, if you missed yesterday's show, we began, it may have been like the first 45 minutes of the show, breaking down the great animal revolt of 2020. Okay, so you got to go check that out. We got a playlist there, and you have to go to today. In fact, I'll go ahead and put that up right now. Check this out. Let's go do this. All right. Got to do it right now, because here is the thing. I went to paleocratdiaries.com yesterday, and I published a blog. It's been a while. In fact, I think from day one, I promised everybody, hey, go to paleocratdiaries.com. It's going to be the mega hub, blah, blah, blah. And I totally failed. But yesterday, I made good on it. It's because I've got Allie Lovesick. I've got Allie Lovesick taking care of me. She's the empress of the vast staff that we have here at Paleocrat Diaries at the headquarters, the Team Tiny Dancer Castle here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So really great to have you with us. Whether you are on Periscope, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, it doesn't matter where you are. I'm going to get comments. In fact, I'm really grateful to CF in the comment section on YouTube. He reminded me right before the show, don't forget to unmute after the intro. That's the thing, man. I can't do that anymore. I can't wait till after the intro, because the thing is, man, is that what ends up happening is I forget. I get wrapped up with the whole rigmarole and hey guys, it's going to be a great day, and it's Paleocrat Diaries, and I'm your host, the one and only, blah, 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 and I do the whole thing, right? And then I realize, oh my gosh, I am totally muted. And the thing is, it's because I use OBS. It's a different program, and that's how I can do all the fancy stuff. You know, I'm down here in the dungeon of the castle. So the staff kind of, you know, isolates me. They realize that I exert a certain kind of energy is what happens. And they have to be focused, right? It's easy for them to get distracted by all the arm movements. My buddy tells me, you know, I do this thing and I point at the screen all the time. And I definitely do. There's no doubt about that. I'm always, especially when I'm mad, I'm pointing at the screen or very animated with my hands. But so, you know, they have me down here. And so I'm doing this on the fly, right? I'm doing this on the fly with all these graphics. Allie ended up helping me quite a bit with those. In fact, this banner here that you're seeing on the screen, yeah, that's Allie. Except for the words. I did the words. She did the picture and everything and made sure that nice little circle there. Look at that handsome guy. Look at that handsome dude. And that little tear, man. Isn't that like that Johnny Depp Crybaby? What was his name? Was that what it was? Crybaby. So we got a bunch of great stories for you. And before we begin, because we're going to talk about some serious stuff today. Some serious stuff actually went down. It was funny. I was talking to a guy last night. I went to a really cool meeting, right? Hung out with my boys. And one of the guys, you know, a handful of them, in fact, were saying that they watched the show. And I was really happy about that. And one of them said, you know, man, I love it, man, the way you talk about these things. You're nailing it. You're getting it right, you know. And I said, sometimes you get it wrong. And yesterday was one of those, because yesterday I talked about a story, and the story was accurate. It was not fake news, right? I was a little bit fake. And what it was that I said that DOJ was going to have an event where they were going to, you know, a major announcement. And I was bashing on Christopher Wray for good reason. The guy's got to go. He's a complete goon, deep state goon, probably part of the color revolution that's going on. And, and I said he has to go. And talked about how, given what he's said in the past, he's probably going to just label it something to do with white nationalism, or right-wing militia groups or something like that. And the thing is that not only was I wrong on one score, I was wrong on a couple. The first one I was wrong on was the fact that it didn't have to do with that at all. It had to do with ISIS. The second thing that I was wrong about was that it was actually not yesterday, but the day before. So I was waiting. I had the staff. I'm like, you guys better watch it 11 o'clock. Make sure you're on it if there's anything really big. And they're all up there, giggling at me and being like, he's totally putting his all 10 toes in his mouth right now. And so, but it wasn't only that. It was the fact that when talking about that particular topic, and specifically in reference to Christopher Wray and what Christopher Wray has said regarding the prevalence of right-wing violence in this country, I downplayed that. And come to find out, it wasn't a DOJ meeting that was going on around that time. It was something trending on Twitter, right here in Michigan, in fact, because there was a group of people that wanted to kidnap the governor. They wanted to kidnap the governor. In fact, one of the guys lived in the basement of, what was it, the Vac Shack, right here in Grand Rapids. I mean, this is like a local guy. I've never seen him in my life. But the fact that it's right here. And there was people from different states, too. And we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about whether or not they are rightly even identified as right-wing. Now, many of them undoubtedly are. Some of them, no. And to distinguish between different groups in the right wing, because there are different groups. Same with the left. And sometimes in these conversations, especially in a very partisan and divided country, we lose sight of that. Like, for example, that there is a massive difference between a libertarian, a neoconservative, and a paleoconservative. Most people on the left wouldn't even know what that means. It's the same thing for saying there's a difference between a neoliberal and an anarcho-syndicalist. And yet, when it comes to political politics, when it comes to elections and things like that, for pragmatic purposes, they end up normally falling on one side or the other. Normally. Although this election's way different. Neocons have gone back to roost in their home of the Democratic Party. You guys can keep them, by the way. And for those who don't know, neocons, we're talking Bushies, right? We're talking the Bushites. We're talking Wolfowitz. The whole gang over there, David French. Different people that find themselves on the neoconservative right. They just loved the Bush years. They thought that was awesome. Yeah, no. That's a huge, huge division. But they found their way back. Bill Kristol. I mean, they're on MSNBC. You know what I'm saying? So this show, unlike a lot of shows, you have most shows, and I don't mean to lump everybody in because it's not true of everybody, but there's a significant number, especially the more popular ones, that when they talk about issues like this, it's just simply left, right. That is it. Or worse than that, Democrat, Republican. And that is just fake. And I'm not going to, if you listen to this show, I'm not going to let you down. I'm not going to let you swim in those waters without the floaties. And more than that, I'm not going to leave you to swim around, in crazy waves all over the place with sharks with nothing but floaties on. You're going to learn to swim. In fact, if you're listening to this show already, you probably already know how to swim, right? In the waters, in the deep. That's why you're attracted to the show. Deep cries out to the deep. You're birds of a feather to me. Although we are getting a lot of new people. And so if you're new, let me say this to all the new people, and we're moving right on because there's really, really big news. We got to talk about this. And there's a lot more, right? So, but it's going to be mainly focused on what I was talking about. It's going to be the gist of the seriousness of this. And then, of course, great memes at the end. It's still going to focus, okay? It's still going to focus on Femininity Fridays, okay? I think this week's, the beginning part is going to have to be like Fanaticism Friday. And just basically saying, look, this is what fanaticism is. And this is what it's not. Here's the shades of that. But Femininity Friday. I was originally saying Breastfeeding Friday, but I was like, I don't want people to be all weird on me, about that. Although I strongly encourage that. Strongly encourage it. And I've been told that there is a significant number of memes. That's what I've been told. And that they're good. They're not all political, because I kind of hate that. If I see a bunch of memes and there's tons of words on it, I start grinding my teeth down to the nerve endings. Like that episode of Ren and Stimpy where his teeth shatter. And all he's got are gums with little wiggly nerve endings. That's basically what it's like for me when I see political memes. So, okay, but if you're new and you're in a comment section, you're like, where is everybody? They're spread out all over the place. There's like 15, 16 different places that this show is broadcasting at the exact same time. Okay, many people may go to the Paleocrat Facebook page or to Jeremiah.Bannister on Facebook. A lot of comments over there. A lot of comments over at HFM American Media. Increasing number of comments happening at my YouTube. Okay, that's at Paleocrat. So if somebody can put it in the comment section where they are, say, look, this is where I'm commenting. And that way, if you would like to have more people in that comment thread, let people know. And I'll tell them where you are. Because I can see it. Right, I've said it before. I'm like the wizard. I can see behind the curtain. Okay, I can see all of the different comments. They're all coming in like that one meme where all of the numbers are kind of floating in front of the guy's face and he's calculating really fast. It's a comedic meme and stuff. It's basically what it's like, but it's real for me. It's real. Okay, here we go. We're starting out with this. I felt like you guys might not be entirely convinced that we are experiencing the great animal revolt of 2020. And that maybe you guys are like, I don't know, man, Jeremiah, you got this thing going. You're just, kind of out there. We get the conspiracy stuff on some things, you talk about Bohemian Grove, talk about the Bilderbergs, talk about, all that stuff. But this, Animal Farm, an international, international organization of animals working together in a confederation to take over human beings, that's a little far. That's a little bit far. I would beg to differ. I would beg to differ. Look, you simply have to know. You simply have to know that we have a luxury now. Back in the olden days, like the 90s and stuff, before the internet brought all of this together in this evil blob of information, this would just all be disparate stuff. You would have an article over here and an article over there and an article over here, and it would be really difficult to see the constellation. But now we can see it. So right here, just as an example, and I want to know if people have done this in the United States. I think that we may rival this. Well, maybe not. This is another level. So just like the deep state coup against President Trump, there's a good possibility that this particular operation is right out of the UK. According to Cheeseburger, according to Cheeseburger, these news headlines prove the UK is home to the most dangerous animals in the world. You decide. Here we go. The Argus, Pitbull holds couple hostage. Now that's obviously believable. In fact, I knew a guy. He was I think he was the man who was driving the car that hit the car with my brother and my dad in it. My brother has a closed head injury. He's special needs. And really cool guy. Okay, really, really special dude. You can see pictures of him on my wall. Very, very near and dear to my heart. But the guy that was driving the car that night that head-on collision with my dad and my brother, that guy, if I'm remembering correctly, I was really little when this happened, so I might mess up a little bit. But he was in his house, and his neighbor had a pit bull. And I don't want to dog pit bulls. I've met a lot of good pit bulls, met a lot of nice ones, right? I got some listeners here. So, Angela, for example, she has great pit bulls, So I don't want to, throw them under the bus. And look, there's a lot of animals on this list too. But there was that particular one. came over, walked in the house, and was all crazy violent, right? And he's trying to defend his wife. He's getting between the dog and the wife, and the dog's just mauling him, right? I mean, he's just bleeding everywhere. And we saw the scars later. I mean, it looked like a burn victim. You know what I mean? Like where the scars are just everywhere. It was pretty grody. And the thing is, finally, the wife comes out and she's got a broom or something, is whacking this dog. Finally, the dog leaves. The guy grabs his gun, goes over, shoots the dog. The dog is bleeding all over the place, walks across the line back into the family's yard, his owner's yard, and drops dead right over the line. That guy got in big trouble. Big trouble. Because turns out, at least I don't know if it's still the law, maybe it is, but the rule was that if you're going to kill a dog, man, you better kill it, like on your property. Otherwise, they could say, look, you shot the dog on my property. I mean, obviously, the guy's got cuts all over. He's obviously been mauled, but he got in trouble. Amazing. So I can imagine this. I can imagine it. Stoned sheep. So it's not just dolphins. We talked about the dolphins and the puffers yesterday. The puffer pass, according to Doug in the comment section. Stoned sheep go on psychotic rampage after eating cannabis plants dumped in Welsh village. These sheep, I wonder if these are the ones. Like if you were out in public and there's a big herd of sheep walking around and you're kind of like, what are those buggers doing? I mean, they're kind of in the road and they all look at you like that. What would you do? I mean, would you think something's going on? Is like a children of the corn moment? Sheep of the corn, sheep of the cannabis. Castle under attack from pigeons. See, this is crazy, man. Again, totally believable. I don't know if you've seen the video. There's a woman. Maybe she's in England, Australia. She got a pretty strong accent. She's on her morning show, and they had her go out. Apparently, there were these crazy magpies. You guys know what those things are, by the way? Have you guys ever been attacked by a magpie? Yeah, I've been attacked by a seagull. That was bad enough, man. I've heard magpies are like another level, right? They're real wicked, But they had this thing where they said there was this real notorious magpie in town. And everybody's afraid, right? The whole town, everybody's hiding their kids. Everybody's hiding their husbands and stuff. And they're like, get in the house right now. There's a magpie on the west side. We don't know where it's going. How far did they fly? But everybody's freaked out about this magpie. And so they had her put a helmet on with different things. Like one had eyeballs on the back of the helmet, right? To kind of and it had hair or something like that to make it look real. And they tried different things to see if she could get away. And she's riding her bike and recording. And she thinks she's gotten away. And you can see that magpie, man. You can see that bugger flying behind her. And all of a sudden, meow, and just hits the back of that helmet. You hear clack real loud. And she, bah! I mean, we're talking on the drop of a dime. All of a sudden, she's like freaking out. She's running as fast as she can. And they had this great music that accompanied it. It's maybe a perfect video. Maybe. So yeah, castle under attack from pigeons. Squirrel invaders terrorize family. Those are strong words. But, imagine the scenario. I mean, let's say they're not being sensationalistic. Maybe they're playing it down. What were how many were there? And how would it terrorize them? I mean, chasing them around, making those little squeak noises. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I believe that one. I just don't know. But see, I've had a pet squirrel. So did my cousin. We both had pet squirrels. Exeter Seagulls turned off my TV. What did I say? They are figuring it out. They are figuring it out, guys. This is real. Yeah. It's crazy. And seagulls, I'll tell you this. So, okay, I'm in the Navy. And Shirley in the comment section said, I do Military Friday and wear red for all the men and women that are, right, in the service and who were in the service. Yep. Thank you very much, by the way. That's a patriotism part of the show, And this is a story about the military. I was in the Navy, and I was qualified on an M60, right? So, I mean, them buggers, I don't know if you've ever shot one of those. Ladies, have you shot an M60? I'm being serious, man. Ladies, have you shot an M60? I know there's a lot of ladies in there talking. How about, any of the guys? Have any of the guys in the room shot an M60? If you haven't, It's heavenly. It is. It's my favorite gun to shoot. Absolutely loved it. It was smooth as butter, man. You just right there, just boom, 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 and it's almost like a massage on your arm. Right? It's just awesome. You know, you got the chain of bullets and everything. It's just totally dope. So I'm out at the end of a pier, okay, because I'm qualified on the M60. So I got sandbags all over. I got this little shed that has, in the winter, it's got heat, and in the summer, it's got air condition, and it's got the M60 out there. So you're looking out, you got one big submarine on one side of the pier and another submarine on the other side of the pier, and you're making sure that everything's fine overnight. So I'm third shift. By morning time, man, I am dog tired. I'm super tired. Need to go CPC nights. Right? Making sure that I'm not falling asleep on watch, because that's super bad. I knew a guy who did that. Not good. And so I'm getting ready to get out of there. Right? And they pull up in a van, and that way you can head on out. No problemo. And so I'm getting ready to go. And all of a sudden, man, I hear this. Is this loud wind. And I'm kind of like looking around thinking, you know, what the heck? And I see this shadow, this looming shadow, like Nosferatu or something. And I'm like, whoa. And I look up, man, there is a seagull. That bugger's like 6 feet from my head. Like it's right above me, just whoa, like this. Starts squawking at me. Oh, dude, I booked it into that shed. I'm like, dude, oh no. And I get in that shed and the thing's kind of going around. And then it goes away a little ways, and it's just chilling there. So I go back out. That bugger comes back. So I'm kind of tucked behind the sandbags. You know what I'm saying? I'm scoping out that M60, thinking I need to get on that walkie-talkie. I might have to pop one of them buggers. You know, just take that thing down. I'm under attack. It's terrorizing me. It's terrorizing me. You know? But I'm getting this little sandbags that got a little hole in them. Anybody who's been behind a sandbag knows this. You got dirt, you know, sand coming out sometimes. It's got little clumps. I'm taking those clumps, man. I'm chucking him at this thing. And so I had to finally call. And I'm like, look, man, you guys got to come, man. I need help. I need, like, assistance down here. So they come down, and they're just strolling. I told them to run. I said, you got to run. Like, when you get here, run down that pier. Don't walk. And when you get here, hurry up real quick. Cover your head and hurry up inside this. And I didn't tell them it's a seagull, right? And they're kind of like, man, well, okay, whatever, man. It's early for Jeremiah, I guess. And so, you know, they're coming up, and they're taking their time, and they get up, and they're standing by the door. They open the door, and I'm just chilling inside, and they're like, what is it? All of a sudden, man, that seagull swoops right by them, and they're like, whoa, and they come running in. All of a sudden, now there's two of us. There's two of us inside this thing, and we're like, dude, oh my gosh, we need to get out of here. So we get out of there, and we book it, man. But that seagull, I guess, apparently, man, there was a nest on top of the shed. Little baby seagull up there. I was protecting it, man. I'm protecting and serving, man. That includes little baby seagulls. You know, I'm serious. If a terrorist came up there, you know, I'm not gonna ask, are you here for the seagull or are you here for this submarine? I'm just gonna, you know, take aim. That's just the way that goes. Fugitive sausage dog causes mayhem. How are you even a fugitive dog? Well, I guess you could run away from a kennel, right? Causes mayhem. Listen to these words, the way they describe this. Exclusive. Gran with shovel fights giant fox. Imagine the scene for that. Pumpkin pie baking grandmother. Sitting there making some deviled eggs for the grandchildren. And all of a sudden a giant fox comes in. I don't know what sound to make. I never figured out what the fox said. Anger at giant rat claims. Oh, people are mad about, okay, that's a really, and what's up with Argus, man? Argus, what's up with that? What is Argus? Anybody in London, man, let me know in the comment section. Brian says in the comment section, seagulls are jerks. Absolutely. Bethany said an M60 sounds as amazing as a cold shower. Cold showers are amazing. They're amazing. Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Shirley said her husband has shot an M60, but said the 50 was better. You know, I can't say one way or another. I haven't shot the 50. Haven't shot it. Aggressive mating swans have locals afraid to leave their homes. That's like the magpie. Have you guys ever been chased by a swan, man? A lot of golfers have. I have. That is very unpleasant. That is a very unpleasant thing. They're extremely territorial. And they're just rude, man. They have a real attitude problem. I've never understood that. Like, I've had geese come after me, and they do that weird thing, It's the same as the swan. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. Is that zoomed in? Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's way better. Yeah, look at bugger's mouth. They open up their little bill, and their tongues stick out, and they make these weird noises. And they come after you, their neck's like that. And you're like, dude, how'd your neck do that? That's creepy, man. If I saw anybody's neck do that, I'd be like booking. It's like Exorcist level things. Scarecrows and ducks take over village. What? They take it over. It's like Rabbit Hash, Kentucky. I'm starting to think that the dogs have already taken over. It's like the robots in Japan. Racist swans attack students. See, they're even getting in on the mix. I bet there's divisions, like there's left wing and right wing swans. You know what I'm saying? Squirrel goes berserk and puts couple in hospital, and it's bitten 8 others. So again, these squirrels, maybe it's the same squirrel. Likelihood is it's not. That's what I'm saying. This is a vast, vast thing. Local woman hurls trumpets at ducks. So I'm showing you all this. I could go on and on and on. Maybe I'll. We're going to keep abreast of this. This is something that has really gathered a lot of attention. You can see it all over the news. Okay? All over the news. This, strangely enough, this is old. Why do I even have this up? What's going on? Hold on a second here. Hey, Allie. Uh-oh. Is Allie at the... hold on here. Yes, Mr. Bannister. Oh. Yeah. You need to make sure that the staff doesn't give me any of these articles that are ancient. Did you get that? I sure did. Thank you. Yeah, see, she's good, man. She's good. It's not her. She doesn't make mistakes, believe me. She's never lost an argument with me ever since 2002. So, yeah. All right, Allie. Yep. But this guy, apparently, I didn't know, so it's news to me. And this is the last one, because we actually got a lot of serious stuff. I don't want to talk about this too long. And we've really laid out the case, I think, a sufficient case that this is to be concerned. But this right here, because it's up, I may as well just show you. Maybe it's worth it. Thomas Thwaites, man who lived as a goat, explains why and says it was a special kind of time. Yes, the kind of time that you go to participate in on a special kind of short bus. Dude, living as a goat, Thomas Thwaite used prosthetic limbs and ended up walking in a field with the animals. What in the heck, man? That's like, what's the bear guy? Grizzly Man. Do you see that documentary, by the way? It's an amazing documentary. Sad. Super tragic. Super, super tragic. Whoa, that is very large. I cannot have it that big. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. It's like, watch this. We'll do it again. Watch this. Watch this. What? Oh. And all of a sudden it works. A man has been describing how he was so stressed. It has to be. That was the same with Grizzly Man. With his daily life that he decided to live as a goat. Again, Grizzly Man, he was a bona fide weirdo. But he seemed, everybody said he was kind of a nice guy. He got along with everybody. He did a lot of stuff with schools and everything. He would talk to the kids about bears and stuff. And he'd go out there and he would live with the bears. But he hated existence. He was one of Freud's discontents. Right? He didn't like civilization and finally just had it. It was a conversation, I guess, at an airport. He was really, really, really angry at the lady doing the tickets and stuff. He just got furious and said, I'm done. I'm going to live with the bears. And he went back and he lived for like one day. He was done. He was done. Because you have to leave at a certain time, by the way. If you don't, you get the old cranky ones, and they're hungry, and they will eat people. He knew that. He should not have gone back. Known as Goat Man, that's original. Goat Man. Thomas Thwaites has written about his unusual lifestyle choice. Man, what is going on with it? Lifestyle. He's like taking furry to another level. He goes to furry conventions and, you know, they're like, well, where's your outfit? And he's like, yeah, I was for real. Like, I don't just pretend for a convention. I go out and live with them. He's written about his unusual lifestyle choice in a book, Goat Man, How I Took a Holiday from Being a Human. Speaking to BBC Radio 4's Today program, it always cracks me up how they spell program. MME, what's up with that, you guys? You're spelling it wrong. The 34-year-old said he made the decision after dog-sitting his niece's happy, joyous dog. When he thought, wouldn't it be nice to just have a break from all this stress? See, I've thought that. I've thought, you know, man, it'd be fun to just get away from everything, you know, and just join a bunch of alpacas. Just get some, you know, maybe make some stilts, you know, and live with a giraffe. Stretch my neck out with those rings, right? And then go and live with the giraffes. I've had it with the world. It's real bad. And it is. It's bad. You're going to hear a lot about that. You are going to hear about it. But then apparently it made him, you know, think. He remembered thinking as a child that if he were a cat, he wouldn't have to go to school. You wouldn't have to put underwear on either, dude. Like, you know, what are you telling us here? What are you telling us, man? He's like, you know, it's those kind of desires. We're all unique in our own special way, like a snowflake, literally. It became an investigation into how close we can come to fulfilling this ancient human dream. Is it really an ancient human dream, or are they just really good at symbolism? Like were the Greeks, were they really down with having sex with swans? Or is there something more to that? Or with bulls? You know what I'm saying? If you don't know what I'm saying, you got to read more myth. So one of my favorite things to do, in fact, I encourage people right now, pick up a copy of the Iliad. Pick up a copy of the Iliad. It'll help you make your way through this very difficult time. I did a bit of research, and you can easily find all the cave paintings depicting half human and half beast. You think it's because they wanted to go out and live as, you know, a bull? They're like, man, it'd just be really great. Be out there, I can just poop and not wipe. What's wrong with you? I went to a goat farm. Oh, here he is. Here he is. Look at this guy. I don't know, man. I don't know. His face is like on the edge, you know, like maybe something's not right. Maybe. Analyze that. I went to a goat farm in the Alps and had some prosthetics made by a doctor at the University of Salford Prosthetics Clinic. A dude got in on this with you, including prosthetic hooves and prosthetic back legs. That's like Unicorn City, man. That's straight LARP stuff, but he said he even attempted to give his stomach similar digestive qualities to those of a goat by eating grass. Okay, this dude took it to a level. And do we have proof of that? Did he record himself doing that? I mean, people can say that all day long. Oh, no, I mean, I guess I have seen people eat grass. I mean, I can believe that dude was trying really hard to do that. Not wise, dude. Not wise, man. It's one of those ways that God, you know, he kind of gives us these mechanisms to remind us, you're not a goat. You are not a goat, man. Your doo-doo is not going to be the same as them. He lasted 3 days. What? 3 days on the goat farm before he left and crossed the Alps. Does that even count? You know, it's like somebody coming back and he's all like, you're like, man, you wrote a book. You lived out there with me. He's like, yeah. And they're like, well, how long? For 3 days. And people are like, they walk away. I thought you were serious about this. I bet that guy that made the prosthetics was mad. I bet he spent more than 3 days making them things. Oh, he's now happily back to normal human life. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I am. I'm very, very glad. All right. So, we're going to get serious for a second. You know, I kind of don't like this page because look at this. Watch. Let's see. Oh. Well, okay, it worked again, man. I've had issues with this. Sometimes it's like zoom like in your face, man, like a 3D movie where it just pops at you and you kind of, wow, you know. Or like one of those, you know, little sparks that come off of a fire and kind of come up at your face and you're like, whoa, like this, you know, and afraid that maybe it got in your eyeball or something. You know, a little splatter of soup. It's what it feels like when I, you know, zoom in on that. So feds charge 6 men accused in plot to kidnap Michigan governor. And it's actually more than this. What is it up to now? 13? If I remember, the last I read, it was like 13. And the thing is that doesn't include, I don't believe anyway, I don't believe that it includes the people that were removed from a house it was raided. They went to this house, right? And went and knocked on the door. Nobody answered. They came back at night. Nobody'd come in and out. And that time they just busted it in. Bam. And when they busted it in, they were there for a very long time. Flashlights all over the place and a bunch of people coming out in cuffs. So I don't know. I don't think that's the additional people. It might be. But if it's not, that number is going to get even larger. Adam Fox. He's the guy that lives in Grand Rapids. Barry Croft, Ty Garbin, Caleb Franks, Daniel Harris, and Brandon Caserta were charged in the Western District of Michigan with conspiracy to kidnap. Okay. According to the criminal complaint, quote, through electronic communications, Croft and Fox agreed to unite others in their cause and take violent action against multiple state governments that they believe are violating the U.S. Constitution. So I'm wondering if, and this includes Whitmer. So I don't know what other governments, we're going to learn more as all of this comes out. But it started here. Right? It's where we're the ones that jumped on that. FBI, and by the way, for all the people that want to eradicate, they want to completely get rid of law enforcement, you know, maybe you can send one of your tolerance and diversity specialists to this scene. See, the utopians, dude, they don't even know what they're protecting, what they're being protected from. Anarchists do not, and by the way, anarchists, these guys, proof of that, by the way. Proof of that. We'll talk about it. But the utopians, man, these lefties, they have no clue what they're talking about. Well, let's get rid of, let's get rid of police. Let's get rid of these agencies, you know, full stop, all the way gone. We'll take care of ourselves. Not realizing that what that means would be private sector surveillance. Oak dokes. We kind of know how that goes with Facebook. And you go, okay. Like, I have a lot of criticisms of the FBI and the CIA. I have a whole bunch. Homeland Security. I have a whole bunch. I'm critical of the military-industrial complex. But at least it's part of the state. There's a mechanism whereby I can do something to say, look, I believe that this is bad. And there's a mechanism whereby me, regular Joe, would still have some capacity, especially when coordinating with other people, to put pressure on the government in order to stop it. Or at least a number to call. And people can say, oh, yeah, well, you got a number to call. Yeah, you don't on Facebook. Hello, Facebook. How can we help you? I like to talk to Zuckerberg. I hate that guy. Oh, he's the worst. He's the worst of that group, right? The worst of that. I've really had a problem with Zuckerberg for a long time. We haven't been buddies for a long time. FBI planted a confidential informant, and you know there's an article that I should read over at the Conservative Treehouse, which by the way is a great site. People should check that out, especially when it comes to things about deep state. When it comes to things about they were spot on over and over and over on Russiagate, on Ukrainegate, on General Flynn. You name it, they've been on it. Sundance. Yeah, the FBI, but they make the claim anyway that there's maybe more to this than we think with the FBI's involvement. But they traveled to Dublin, Ohio on June 6th for a meeting with Croft, Fox, and about 13 other people. So there's the gang. There's the group. At one point during the meeting, the group discussed increasing its members, and Fox reached out to a Michigan-based militia group. By June 14th, a second confidential informant confirmed that Fox was introduced to the leader of the militia group, and they met in Grand Rapids, Michigan. They met in a basement. And you can actually see a video of this. You can see a video of the basement. They go down, news crew. The owner had no clue. In fact, he felt badly because Fox was unemployed and homeless at the time. Maybe to do with the lockdown, because that was his former employer. Maybe couldn't open up shop, a non-essential service. This is at play, and this is what I have been saying. I told everybody, I've said this since the show began, expect this. I've lamented this. I had a long conversation with my wife about it. She actually talked to me after she learned about this, and she goes, you got to be careful. She said, you talk about stuff like, a cold civil war, and it's not even cold anymore. You talk about that. And I said, yes, yeah. And she goes, I know that you know, like, scholarly stuff about it. You read studies about it. You read scholars. You listen to their lectures. You know this stuff. But a lot of people might not. And, you saying that eventually somebody's going to snap and they're going to come for you. You have to know they're coming for you. And then you do like this, and then this kind of thing happens. People could say, Jeremiah, you're inciting something. Now, that would be true if I wasn't saying, number one, that this is a extremely lamentable scenario. And it doesn't have to be this way. This is, I've said this, nobody wants to be here. I don't want this to be here. I said it yesterday. I got real serious with everybody. No pointing, no waving the hands around, nothing. Just raw me. Just talking. And broke it down about the sorrow in my own life from trying to be the person to be able to reach out and explain the sides to each other and stand in that gap, taking fire from both sides. I've done that for years of my life, and I almost cried because I said I failed. I was anxious, to be honest, to tell you the truth. In that moment, it's easy to just, be all pizzazzy, to go on, and just be like, waving your arms and pointing at stuff and being intense. But there's times where you're vulnerable and you say something and it's self-reflective, self-critical. And to say, look, I've dedicated years of my life to a specific thing, more hours than I can even imagine. I've lost friends over it. Families unfriended me over it. I put myself out there and failed. And I said, I'm the kind of guy that sits there and says, this is a terrible scenario. It doesn't have to be this way, but we can't do what we're doing right now and think that this is not going to have a consequence. It is inevitable that these groups shall arise. When you see anarchists on the street, Black Bloc, you see them bashing in windows. And the news says mostly peaceful. And they defend Black Bloc. Oh, they're just people, skater kids or whatever. They're just, punk rock kids. Or this, there's no such thing as Antifa. Or this one, Antifa is an idea. Well, guess what? Even if that was just true, ideas have consequences. And the thing is, and I'm not even going to try to just simply blame that. I'm saying that when you see that arise at a big scale and you see race riots all over the place, which is what these essentially are. These are race riots, what we're seeing. That when you have that going on, it means that the cultural conditions are such that if you weren't even looking over there, you have to know it's there. Like a rattlesnake. You'll start to hear the little rattler sound. And the thing is, to lock this down, what have I said over and over and over? If you shut down an economy and you make it so only the big businesses are able to stay open, so Bezos makes money, the Walton family makes money, all these big businesses make money, or they're at least able to stay afloat. They're able to keep their McMansions. You've got people like Ellen boo-hooing it up, talking about how, this is like prison. It's true. In a way, yes, you're right. But you have a prison that's like, tens of millions of dollars. And it ain't going away. People like Nancy Pelosi sitting there on TV talking about what she's got in the freezer. All of her ice cream, and she opens up all these refrigerators. And those refrigerators are as much as some cars. They ain't going nowhere. They're not hurt by that. But Johnny Q and Sally Sue, devastated. Devastated. Hopes and dreams. Not just like, oh, I'm struggling to pay the bills. We need relief with some money. Psychological, spiritual, family. These things are devastated, ravaged. Because we're complex. Society is complex. And so if you take away those things and you go, look, you should feel very great. You don't have to go to work. You just stay at home all day. Isn't that awesome? No, man. God made us to work. That's why we wake up. It's like telling somebody, wouldn't it be great if you could just sleep for 6 months? Because you like to sleep a lot, don't you? No, man, it'd be a coma. Very unhealthy. It would be terrible. And we're not even designed in such a way where that's even feasible. Unless you are, in fact, maybe in a coma. Or if it's like Frank McCluskey's dad, in kind of a coma type thing. But if you don't have work, and it would be like not waking up. You sit there and you say, we are inevitable waker-uppers. Try to sleep maybe sometime, on a vacation or something. Try to sleep. Maybe you already have, and you just go, I'm going to stay asleep. Try your hardest to stay asleep as long as you can, and it will get to the point where you want to get up, or you need to, because you need to go get some food. Because we're complex. Our relationship with the world is complex. The health of our bodies and our minds and our spirits is complex. Without work, without food, without socializing, without church, these things together help to create who we are. And not just to create it, but also to make sure that it remains in health, stable. You take those things away, you are going to create ridiculous amounts of instability. And if you think that obedience to the law comes from instability, maybe as a last resort because people are trying to get to that place of stability. It's like the mechanism where you're super dizzy and you're faint and you pass out, and all of a sudden now the blood's at the level of the heart and you wake back up and boom, it's a reset. But the thing is that lawfulness comes. And I'm not even a Bernie guy, but Bernie understands that. So I can throw some bones to the left and say, look, he understands that if people have work and if people have certain conditions in place, that they're going to maybe commit less crime. Boredom is a terrible drug, by the way. It's like Angel does, man. You'll do crazy crap. Here are the guys. That's Adam Fox. Look at that neck beard. I don't mean to play this down, but that neck beard, man, he looks like he would do something really terrible. In my opinion, he doesn't not looking good. But I wanted to point this stuff out here. So one of the neighbors was talking about how it's very shocking for him to hear that. He said that the Croft home, one of the guys in the group, is the home is decorated for Halloween, and it's in a very quiet middle-class neighborhood. It's a quiet neighborhood. And outside of some dogs barking, you can hear a pin drop. There's another one. This guy right here, he's trying to wiggle his way out of it. Franks attended a meeting at the residence of a militia group member, but said that he was not cool with offensive kidnapping, and he was just there for the training. You know, that's like being caught in a house with guns and heroin all over the place, and you're like, I was here for the television, satellite. Good, nice try, dude. Nice try. Another neighbor, they just seem to be normal people. They seem like nice, innocent people. Beller lived for a time at the Childs Lake Estates, a mobile park off Old Plank Road. For those of you in Detroit, I think that is where that is. I might be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. Where is that exactly? Old Plank Road. This is Detroit Free Press, and so they're writing about it like folksy. Like, over at, Bob's Corner Store. Okay, what? I'm outside of town, man. I'm reading it from 3 hours drive away. I don't know Bob or his corner store, Yeah, so off Old Plank Road, 2 miles northwest of Ford Wixom plant. Again, these are writing for the folks, dude. The records claim Beller didn't pay July's rent, and by the end of the month, Park filed an eviction notice in district court. Again. So we're talking middle class, otherwise ordinary people, or lower class. No money for rent. He's not the only one either. Eviction, by the way. How many of you, eviction during a pandemic? Well, hey, I think that the homeless are actually doing really well, surprisingly. I don't know how that happened, but yeah. In the front yard are 2 truckers for Trump lawn signs. This is something that needs to be said. The porch is decorated with Halloween decorations and 2 flags. One is a standard American flag, and the other flag with a coiled snake and the words, "Don't tread on me." I own one of those too. It's a Gadsden flag. And in fact, I'm going to say a number of things here that a lot of people might be hesitant to say. You should be unsurprised by this, guys. According to court documents, Morrison and Musico are founding members of the Wolverine Watchmen. Morrison is considered Wolverine Watchmen's commander and is known by the online moniker Boogaloo Bunyan. The Boogaloo Boys are an interesting group. Fundamentally, they're anarchists. You can see this in the fact that 2 of them, it was a video, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, 2 guys in a car, they come in, and they're talking about guns and everything. It's live streamed, and they're talking to somebody on a camera. Their faces are right there. They totally get busted because of the stuff that they admitted to doing or said that they were intent on doing, but they were very clear to the race rioters that they supported the race riots, that they're there for them. And yet there are others that may have a Confederate flag. That's a mistake. Unless they actually had the Confederate flag. We use that as it would be a rebel flag, right? Or the battle flag. What is it? Tennessee Battalion? Which one? What would it be? It's like Dukes of Hazzard flag. Which, by the way, St. Andrew's flag. It's actually a beautiful flag. And a variation on the U.S. flag showing alternating red and white stripes. Now, I like flags. I own a number of them, even a pirate flag. Right? I used to have them on my wall in my set when it was up in the attic of the castle. But I don't know what that is. What does anybody in the comments section? Do you guys know? And I'm sorry I haven't been getting to these comments. I'll make sure we're gonna talk the comments here in a moment before I go on to the next topic. Okay. But do any of you guys know what that is? Where the stripes, instead of going horizontally, are vertical? Circle of stars surrounding the words liberty or death on a white, in white on a blue background. They had Marine Corps images. One sticker on a truck window is for a terrorist hunting permit. Another is a crest for Kingdom Music Ministries. I find this really interesting. In fact, I went. Where is it here? Here we go. Let's do this. This is Kingdom Music Ministries. Jesus is the answer. George Floyd response. I mean, this is like Evangelical 101, man. You know what I'm saying? But look. So if they're down with this, if this is the kind of music they listen to, you know, this is the kind of thing that they support, it's kind of an interesting twist on stuff. Right here's the basement. Oh, sorry about that. Man, I can't believe I did that. I've been talking. Sorry about that. Look. Let's go back. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Man, I've been talking this whole time. How long have I been doing that? Allie. Oh, Allie, you gotta let me know. Oh my gosh, man. I might have been like this. I might have this whole time been like, oh, check out this guy's face. Check out this person and this person. I'm not going back and showing. You can look up those articles yourself. But look, here's the whole thing with the Kingdom Music. Look at this. Yeah. Yeah, Brian Trail. And it just doesn't look like the kind of thing. You know, but maybe it's an old sticker. Maybe that's just the kind of thing he's into. Here's the basement that I was telling you about. Susan Samples from Wood TV in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Was Susan one of those, man, on the conversation with the police department when they were talking about the Proud Boys in Kalamazoo? Was Susan Samples on that or no? I hope not, because every journalist in that group was a complete moron. Pathetic people. Oh, they were crybabies that day. Oh no, our narrative is toast. So I'm hoping that Susan Samples, I'm really hoping that she wasn't one of them. The owner let him stay because Fox was homeless and had dogs. Fox had been an employee on and off at Vac Shack for 17 years. Why isn't Vac Shack capitalized, by the way? That's just editorial. Sorry. The boss, Brian Titus, told Wood TV that, quote, he was anti-police. And this is why I'm saying a lot of people would say, well, he supported Donald Trump. Well, the house that people were meeting in had signs for that. It also had other signs. And there were signs in videos of some of these guys in the background, anarchy signs. They're philosophical anarchists. Right wing. Like ANCAP, right? He was anti-police, anti-government. Yeah. Maybe a night watchman sort of guy. He was afraid if he didn't stand up for his Second Amendment and his rights that the country is going to communism and socialism. Here's the thing. He's actually right about that. And this is where, again, just like our relationship to the world is complex, so is the network of ideas that we may have. Even Hitler loved puppies, right? Even Hitler and Mao and them were probably terrified of, the rampaging bears and swans. They may have certain ideas that are good. In fact, economically, there was a good reason. The world marveled, by the way. It's the economic engine that was going on for a while with fascism. And so you can sit there and you can say, look, somebody can have a really great idea on X, Y, and Z and have a really terrible idea on A, B, and C. But he's actually correct about certain things to do with the Second Amendment and with our rights in this country. Who are the Wolverine Watchmen? Well, here's a couple of these guys. They're looking pretty hit. They look like they would be part of something like this, by the way. It's so tragic. There's that flag I was talking about. Let's see if we can zoom that in. See this flag, the vertical red and white stripes there? Do you guys even know what that is? Here's a closer one of it. Right there. I just don't know what that is. A Facebook page for Eric Molitor, another Michigan man who faces state charges in the case, features praise for 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse. Yeah. Yes. And see, but look at how they're lumping this together. By the way, this is the Daily Beast. The Daily Beast is a trash website for trash people. I'm going here, though, as a good example to show you how this works. Because it was the same thing yesterday when people were talking about it. They said, oh, recently in a debate, Trump, when asked specifically about the Proud Boys, so they begin talking about Proud Boys, they plant that. It's a prime, right? It's a frame. So you're giving someone kind of a parameter. You're giving them a almost a mental jingle, like a da-da-da-da-da, Proud Boys, right? Like you're giving them something that cues in their brain an event or a feeling, a thought, and saying, when asked to condemn the Proud Boys, he said to, what was it? Stand back and stand by? Was that what it is? Stand back and stand by? And then immediately transitions to talking about these guys. Not Proud Boys. These guys are not Proud Boys. But what they've done is lumped these two things in together. Same thing with Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse defended himself. Period. If somebody came up to me with a gun like that, and they came up to me, I'd blow his arm off. Wouldn't you? Oh, I guess I'll just go ahead and take it. Somebody coming up, slamming me in the head, kicking me in the head, shooting, throwing things at me as I'm racing to get out of there. After I helped somebody with first aid, after I got done helping to clean up paint off of one of the buildings. Go get him! And I get shoved to the ground. I've seen enough videos, dude. Straight up, man. I would defend myself. That's a constitutional right. And when people, they say, you think the Second Amendment's under attack? Yes, because if you're being attacked, including by a guy with a gun, who puts his hands up, then reaches down, tried the pump fake, now he's living with 90% less of his bicep. And look at what they've done to Kyle, by the way. Look what they've done. It's in evidence of tyranny to say people can't even donate to support the defense. Do they not understand how our Constitution works? Do they not understand how our legal system works? They don't care. And then to make it worse, they mock people for saying that it's under attack. Oh, you think it's under attack? Yes, man, obviously. Obviously it is. Who doesn't see that, by the way? Who doesn't see that? Who thinks, oh, your Second Amendment's not under attack when somebody can come up and threaten you and hit you with the skateboard, kick you in the head, shove you to the ground, and approach you with a gun, trying to grab your gun, and you can't defend yourself with, by the way, really excellent marksmanship. And if you do that, not only are you going to go to jail, all the news and all of us on Facebook, are all these click-clacktivists on Facebook, we're all going to call you a terrorist. And then we're going to make it so that all your GoFundMes are taken down. Molitor also posted a conspiracy theories relating to QAnon, posting the QAnon hashtag Save Our Children and images about human trafficking conspiracy theories. Are these people kidding me? You guys were on the Epstein plane. Who was that? Who wrote this? Hold on. We're going back up. Who wrote this? Who wrote that? Oh, a bunch of them. Tom Perkins, Kelly Weil, Will Sommer, William Brutterman. These people really, the human trafficking conspiracy theories. Well, I guess it depends on what they mean by that. What do they mean by that? Maybe they don't read the news. Do you know how many children have been saved by this, by the way? I think Trump's answer on that was amazing, specifically QAnon. When asked, well, they're saying that you're fighting against pedophilia and child trafficking and stuff, and you're saving the world from it. And he goes, what, is that a bad thing? That stuff's real, dude. There are serious, it doesn't mean that every single theory that somebody comes up with is real, but the idea that there are not major webs of child trafficking rings. I mean, it's just, read the news. You guys write it. But they're in this incestuous relationship with other lefties where all they do, they're in this bubble that just reaffirms itself. Hey, man, I'm patting you on the back. I'm patting you on the back. Yeah, Molitor had previously posted images indicating affiliation with the Three Percenters militia, a far-right paramilitary movement. See, that sounds really scary right there, by the way, the Three Percenters. I'll show you really quick what this is. But on YouTube, Musico was more vocal, sharing ramblings and tirades against taxes and gun control and the deep state. It was more than that. It was more than that. In fact, I wish I would have shared. I wish I would have shared for the show here. There's a bunch of screenshots from him where they went to his videos and they started going through it and they're like, dude, this guy is an anarchist. Doesn't believe in, get rid of the government, man. He wanted to propose an alternative. That is utopian revolutionary thought. That totally exists, by the way. There's groups like that on the right. They've gotten smaller and smaller and smaller. The left, in fact, should be quite glad for Trumpism on that score. Trust me, you'd rather deal with that. Musico also has a page on social media site Gab, popular among white supremacists and the alt-right, on which he promoted the unfounded claim that in South Africa, they're killing white people. Dude, we all have the internet. We all have the internet. You can go and look it up yourself. Look it up and don't trust these groups like, oh, Southern Poverty Law Center said. Oh, the Anti-Defamation League said. Who cares what they say? Go and read the actual stories. Go and read material written by individuals who are willing to go there. That's why that's why I have, for example, a Telegram. Because when you shove these sources out, all of a sudden, all these different sources that these jokers are reading are the same thing. Promoting the same crap from the same worldview. Focusing on the same interests. They have to pick what stories they're going to do. They have themes. They have limited space and limited time. And there's all that kind of pressure. You don't want to get involved in that. If you think that's fake, you aren't reading. A Michigan-based Pete Musico also had a Twitter account with the, and look how they tied that in a Tea Party style. Why not just say Gaston flag, dude? As his profile image. And a number of posts in 2016 voicing support for Trump and calling for the imprisonment of then Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton. Do you see what they're doing? Hillary should be in jail. If any of us did what Hillary did with her emails, with the phones, if we did that kind of thing, we're locked up. We're wearing the black and white stripes. But not Hillary. Not them, because we have. And it's a legitimate complaint, by the way. It's one of the legitimate complaints that Black Lives Matter would have, is that we have a system of justice that is unjust. In many ways, it is unjust. If you have power, if you have access, then you're going to be treated differently. And sometimes that might be bad. Oh, we're learning that with Trump. There are some exceptions to this. Take Roger Stone. Yeah. Take Roger Stone. It also includes allegations that former President Bill Clinton fathered an illegitimate black child. These people don't believe women. They don't believe women. A woman is claiming that. Oh, look, maybe I'm glad they don't believe women. Not all women. Because let me rephrase this. They say believe women, but what they really mean, they had to take it off. And Hillary took it off her campaign website. Believe all women. Because there are women who make accusations, number one, that Hillary didn't believe. Hillary railroaded those people, ruined their lives, fought them tooth and nail, like a faithful wife should. She stood by her man, even though he was a complete a-hole. Gotta watch my mouth. Another post urges his 14 followers. Oh, so he had 14 people. To visit right-wing conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. Here it is. It's all, dude, look at what they've done. They brought in everything together and said, these people believe that. You can take tons of that, and we could do the exact same thing. And it is why it's dangerous to do that. We can do the same thing with the left. It would be disingenuous. In April, armed men tried to break onto the floor of the state capitol only to be stopped by security. In May, armed militia members rallied outside the Capitol to protest Whitmer's pandemic orders. A lot of people did. And Whitmer, by the way, that was when Whitmer, number one, she said it would be a super spreader event, that we would overwhelm the healthcare system. Never happened. Didn't happen. She said it would be them, and it's on them. Blame them for death. That was around the time. Was that when you had the people that were in scrubs, standing in the middle of the road, protesting, and everybody talked about them as if they were nurses and doctors, and yet we never confirmed even who they were? Propaganda, by the way. And if you go, well, why would they do that? You're wasting my time if you think that way. You're wasting my time if you think that way. I'm serious. Go play with dolls. What are the 3%ers? I want you guys to be really educated on this. I'm serious. I know it's taken a long time. I want you to know this. We just passed the first hour. Thank you for joining us. I started late today. The 3%ers is a national organization made up of patriotic citizens who love their country, their freedoms, and their liberty. We're committed to standing against and exposing corruption and injustice. First and foremost, we are not racists, nor are we white supremacists. The organization is made up of patriots of all races, colors, creeds, religions, background, ethnicities, orientations, you name it. It doesn't matter. None of that matters because you don't say the right words. You could be in an interracial marriage. Doesn't matter because it's possible that maybe you're really in that marriage because you want to dominate an Asian woman. Screw you, dude. Screw you. Crap like that. Them are fighting words, champ. I'd drop you to the floor, homie. That's a promise, too, by the way. Screw around and find out. I'm done with certain arguments, guys. If people using that on me, what Whitey McTidy pants, living in their mega white homes, mega white picket fences, sending their kids to mega white schools, going to mega white churches or mega white atheist organizations, sitting there talking to me and my wife because I don't say the right words, because I don't put up my fist. Screw you. Bring it on, man. I'm not even kidding anymore. We're not anti-government. In fact, we are very pro-government. Look at this. So these people are very pro-government so long as the government abides by the Constitution. Well, okay, that kind of sounds like as long as the government is obeying the law that we all said that the government has to do when we created the government. We created it. We gave it powers. We signed off on that. If the government becomes an entity that sits there and says, well, I don't need to do that anymore, it goes rogue, then the source of authority and power, that source has the right. If we didn't have the right to do that, we wouldn't be a country in the first place. Duh. We do not seek to incite a revolution. However, we will defend ourselves when necessary. We are not here to create violence. Violence should always be a last resort, and even then should only be defensive in nature. Now, here's the 3 principles, just so you know. Moral strength, knowing what's right and wrong and acting accordingly, being trustworthy, truthful, and holding high values and principles. Strength to stand up when something is morally wrong. Physical readiness. Physical readiness is defined as the ability to meet the physical demand of any task in order to accomplish the objective at hand. No first use of force. That's like a non-aggression principle, by the way. Don't fire unless fired on. We are not the aggressor nor antagonist. We are defensive and only as a last resort. People, before we move on, people who sit there and they read the news or they watch it on TV, they don't hear a lot of this stuff. They hear one little blip. They don't hear any kind of conversation. They hear no criticism. They don't know what framing is. They don't know what priming is. They don't know how this news is affecting them. They don't understand what propaganda is. And we're going to learn about it. We're going to talk about it. This show, we're going to talk about it. We've been talking about it. They don't know. They gobble it up, and they gobble it up more and more and more in sound bites that are like, these super tiny ones now. Micro sound bites. Blips and blurbs. Easily consumable when you're scrolling really fast. Slow down. Please slow down. Take the time to understand. If you see that a group is being talked about, you have at your disposal, you have the tools necessary to look it up. Or are you just going to go, Brian Stelter said it? Who says that? Come on. Apparently a lot of people. Anderson Cooper says it. And it's not just that. Sean Hannity says it. Rush Limbaugh says it. Jeremiah Bannister says it. You have the tools. In fact, I encourage you. This is a serious thing right now. If you're watching this, I encourage you. If you disagree with something, or you wonder, is that real? And maybe especially if you are the kind of person that just is like, dude, you said it, man, I'm all with you, dude, all the way. Check it. Keep me accountable. Because I don't want to be like them. Because them has created this. And has created them. It didn't come from nowhere. It wasn't out of nothing, everything came all of a sudden for no reason. There's a bunch of crazy on the streets. Or for no reason. There's a bunch of violence and people connected together talking about kidnapping a governor. And not just one. In some ways, this was super foreseeable. As I said earlier, you can see it a mile away, 10,000 miles away, because we have hindsight. We have history to look at and say, don't you know? Don't you see? We not only have history, we have God. We have revelation. We have the idea that we can know about ourselves as creatures made in his image, made for a certain task, for a certain end. We can see that when this is off track, when this is, people start playing Mr. Potato Head, and you go, everything will be fine. You just need to accept it. What happens when they don't? What happens when they don't? If that person says, well, if they don't, you know, a lot of times it used to be, well, they're going to die off. Well, guess what? That's not how it works. It's not like there's this group of them, and as it goes, political traditionalism or political conservatism will just get older, like Greg Gutfeld's audience, and they're all going to die any second. Jim Baker's audience. It's transgenerational. These people have kids, man. They ain't out there aborting their babies. They're passing down traditions. It's going to go on. So what happens? What are you going to do? More and more and more and more and more and more and more. More and more and more. And then the left, as they're pushing to not understand what's happening over here. It's called blowback. Read the book. It happens in our foreign policy, and it happens at home. Which is why I said, this is going to happen. You have to know this is going to happen. We need to take a knee for Jesus Christ. Period. You have a choice. And we can't mess around anymore. No more, dude. No more. All right, comments. By the way, thank you for dealing with me for a long time there. But you guys just need to know. I want you guys to be able to tell your friends and say, look, this show, number one, it's off the charts. I mean, you know, this guy's really covering important things like the animal rights and stuff. He's really covering that. And the memes are really great. And he gets kind of wild and zany sometimes. But dude, the guy is really giving us information and challenging us to challenge him. Spread this far and wide. It's the best thing. You guys showing up, you don't even know what it's like when I get in here and I see names that have come once, come twice, and now they're regulars. It's like going to your favorite, you know, diner in town. I'm like, what's up, Jim? What's up, Bob? Hey, Elaine. Hi, honey. What do you want? All right. You start to know some people. You recognize them. They came back. You don't even know what you've done, guys, to me. And how happy you've made me. And encouraged me. You also don't know how desperately I need this coffee. That's the one thing about this morning thing. I'm still not adjusted to it. I think I'm, you know, living off of like a very, very, very dangerously small amount of sleep. I know it's extremely unhealthy. You know. All right. So, in the comments, Bethany's talking about demons taking over the animals. It's looking like it. Yes, CF. It is an intercom. Although, I got to make sure that the volume is up. I wish there was a way, maybe, I don't know if there's a way to plug this thing in. Right? Yeah, man. And you knew it too. The intercom has finally arrived. Yeah. Connecting with the old staff upstairs. Hanging out with my buddy, Louie. Little Lou. I thought there was going to be a picture of him with the goats, with his prosthetic hooves. I wondered that too. Should have been eating garbage if he was trying to be a goat. Yeah. Governor Dim Whitmer. Yes, that it has to be. Very, very dim here. Very, very, very dim. According to Nutherby, is that how you pronounce that? Art of the meme? The ringleader is some Antifa anti-Trumper. He's a, as far as I know, well, I don't know about the leader, the one in the vac shack. If that's, what is it, Adam Fox? I don't know about him. But I know the guy that was making the YouTube videos, man. That guy, he's a, I would not consider him a regular, like, American economic, magonomic, nationalist style person like Trump. Jason, woot woot, another episode of Paleocrat. Dude, yes, bro. You better believe it, buddy. 5 days a week. 5 days a week. Bethany says she's afraid this is only the tip of the iceberg. Yes. Yes, it is. It's only the tip of the iceberg. And without wanting to go on another rant here, to just simply say, I've been calling it for a long time. We are at that place. We are at that place that says you need to choose. You're seeing it more and more. Which way, Western man? Right? That's a meme. It's a meme. Escape to go back. Revolt from the world. Stop being degenerate. The conservative alternative. These are things, right? We're the new counterculture. You're seeing these things that are happening, and you start to see stuff put in motion at many different levels, not just politically. It's way bigger than elections. I mean, I'm serious about that. Like, those people come and go. You put laws in place, that's a little bit different. You start changing people's religion, that's a little bit different. How many of you were alive in the 90s and remember what American Christianity was like in the 90s or in the 80s? It's not even recognizable anymore. It's not even recognizable. Kashan, good morning, everybody. Yes, good morning to you. Shirley, she wants to defund the police, so maybe get rid of her bodyguards, and she should call a caseworker to come help her. That's the thing people don't understand. People don't understand that when they're criticizing the police, I mean, it's so commonsensical. You say, oh, you want to defund the police, you want to get rid of the police, but as soon as something bad happens, call 911, hurry, someone's trying to rape me. And you're like, no, yeah, I know. That's why they're there. That's why they're there, you dummy. I've, again, critical of abuse, critical of excessive use of force, critical of the police state, critical of that, critical of Alex Jones and his apparent disregard for it. When's the last time you heard Alex Jones worry about the police state? He made documentaries about it. Look, I love the guy. I love the guy. Really glad to see Jay Dyer hosting part of the show. Friend of mine. Major time disagreements, but dude, I'd go to bat for him. I love him. He's a good guy. And congratulations on his marriage too. CF wonders about the Fed informants. Yeah, I as I said, I wish I would have gotten the article over at Conservative Treehouse. In fact, if somebody in the comment section look up theconservativetreehouse.com. If you've never been there, you need to put that in the bookmarks. It's a great site. And they love the Lord. They have a good open section, where you can just get in there and share articles and stuff like that. But extremely well done research. I love it. Let's see here. Jesus was prosecuted also. Yes. Kashan says 100% agree with Paleocrat. Thank you. But I'd rather it be like 99. Keep that little edge, man. Keep that a little bit, you go, maybe he's wrong about a little bit of something. Even the best of us, man, can be wrong sometimes, right? Yeah. Deja, what about those of us who have medical issues regarding sleep and have trouble doing anything else? Hey, that's okay. That's a thing. But you're not posting this message in your sleep. I mean, maybe you are. You've mastered that. You're like, totally sleeping and texting at the same time. Even able to use emojis. It's impressive. Justin, you deserve a medal for how well you passed the ideological Turing test. I've seen and experienced this magic firsthand often. Yeah. It's really cool to see people commenting in the comment section back and forth, too. Yeah, Brian, pictures aren't on the screen. Dude, yeah. Okay, now I'm to this part. Oh, no. Oh, no, man. Oh. Bethany said, my phone died, so I'm not sure if it was covered. This is, the peacetime flag. That's the one they're flying. Hold on, I'll pop that up so that we can, actually, is it going to, let's see here. Peacetime flag. Let's go over here. It's kind of like that, but not. It's got the blue with the white stars, and the stars were in a circle. If I don't take my sleeping bag, okay. Never heard of the Wolverine Watchman. That's the thing. Most of these groups, people don't know about it. And look, I believe in militias, but I say you have to be well regulated. And the thing is, there's a way that that's done. I mean, there's a lot of history here, guys, and it goes much further back than Ruby Ridge. That's just true, and I don't want to burn anybody on that, but it is true. Like, it goes way further back than Ruby Ridge. It goes further back than Waco. Let's see here. Angela says, I believe the flag is called the civilian flag of peace and has 2 variants. Let's see if that's what it is. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Variant A. So yes. Yeah. It is that flag. The one that was shared. That one was so variant B or variant A is the blue with the white stars. Okay. Let's see here. And again, if there's a good comment section going on over at facebook.com/jeremiah.bannister. Or is that over at Paleocrat? I don't know where you guys are here. I don't know where you guys are. The 3%ers, as far as I'm aware, are a defensive militia. Yes. Deja, mega white atheist organizations. Yeah, that's true, isn't it? Isn't it true? I know Deja's a diva. She's a, when we were on Paleo Radio, me and Joe, she was a Paleo Radio diva. She's a Paleocrat diary diva right now, Paleocrat diva. So the thing is, though, is that she was over at Reason Rally in D.C. You saw what is it, the Black Non-Believers? You saw that tent. We knew some of the people in there. It's not to dog them too badly. It's a good, they were meaning well, but it really did say something that there's like basically hardly anybody there who's black. And at least there's like a level of self-awareness that kind of goes on, where atheist people began really thinking about it and being like, man, there's just so many white people, and it's so many white men, or these kind of secular white women. And they were realizing this, and they're like, well, what can we do? It's kind of like an outreach thing. And they didn't see that that's actually the kind of white-splaining that when they're talking about political topics against, the white heterosexual Christian male, the cis people, when they're the white cis people, cis hets, when they're doing that, right, they're critical of them and they're white-splaining. Oh, you're white-splaining to these people. And you're like, dude, what do you think you're doing, man? We're informing them. Oh, is that what you tell yourself to sleep at night? I got you. I got you. Yeah, Whitey McWhitey pants. Big time. Big time. By the way, I love these comments. There's a lot of comments. Again, Make sure you can find us all over online. And I'm really grateful. This isn't just a show. It's a brotherhood. It's a fraternity. It's a sorority. It's all of those things together. We're together. Okay, it's good. So share it with your friends. Share it with your family. I actually had somebody just last night. I had a couple people actually at this group I went to. Hanging out with the boys, the brethren. It was awesome. And a lot of them too, man. It was, I love my guys. So the thing is like, people talking and saying, look, it's really awesome, the show, and it's been a really great experience. And I, sharing it with family and even talked to the dad of one of them, really, really proud about that. I had a really great conversation, right, with the dad of a listener. Right? Apparently his son said that I'm an honorable man. That I'm a good man. And, the thing is, I got a lot to work on. And if that makes me good, so be it. But I have a lot I need to work on. And so I genuinely do need prayer. I need your support, need your prayer. Let's see here. Hardly people of color, that was my issue. And the too many mans, and sexism, and I'm telling you, it's true. And it's one of those things where, like, they don't even, there's the lack of self-reflection and self-awareness in the atheist movement. And I'll be specific about that because I think the atheist movement is like a thing unto itself. You know what I mean? It's like that snake that eats itself. It's really bad. It's really, really, really bad. All right, moving on. Okay, well, let me say this. Yeah, when people talk about, and let's go ahead and switch out this news thing here. That way we can see a little bit more. We can see a little bit more of that. Okay. So the thing is that, when people talk about, well, man, you Jeremiah, you talk about civil war. Tim Pool talks about civil war. You need to go online. You need to go online and you need to see that this kind of thing is all over the place, even on CNN from people who are not right-wing militia people like Mr. Bernstein, maybe one of the grossest looking guys on television. I'm sorry to say that. I don't like busting on people's chops because of their looks, but he may be a special exception. We got Heritage Foundation talking about it. Milwaukee Independent, The Hill, Princeton professor. We are in a cold civil war. Yeah. Imprimis, Hillsdale, America's Cold Civil War. Cold Civil War by Thomas Matt. Marianne Williamson, wow, okay. America's Cold Civil War. You can go on and on. That's just page 1. It's just page 1. So this is not a joke. That's what I'm saying. Like, at least you'll understand what I mean by this. And I've said it wouldn't even play itself out the same way. It didn't play itself out. Wars change all the time. And we're at a place now where, the focus would be on mechanisms of power, which is why the deep state is a serious, serious threat to our political system as a whole. And we've been warned about this for a while. There are positive signs, but these are all piecemeal. We can say, well, man, we're really glad that it looks like, for example, that John James is doing really well. We can say that's a good sign. That is a good sign. But we're dealing with years of preparatory work. Like this article here, amazing, about the perfect storm facing our republic. Contested voting. And we talked about that in all the different ways that we talked about yesterday. And the ways that this is going to affect each branch of, and not just that it will, but that it has, and that it's accelerated. It's accelerated maybe beyond control. I've said that. I've lamented the fact we might actually be too late. But if we feel that we might be too late, then we need to try with all of our might as if we are not. Otherwise, it's just a self-fulfilling it wouldn't just be a self-fulfilling prophecy. right? It'd just be a self-fulfillment. You would just say, well, my inaction maybe could have done something. Maybe something that I did. And it's not just voting. Voting is important. But I don't want people to get me wrong about this. Politics is downstream from culture. And at the root of culture is a worldview. That is how reality works. We need to be on that level where you are talking to people about their view of the world, not just one argument here and one argument there, or one election over here and one candidate over there, or one news story, or one book, or one class, or one freakazoid professor, one freakazoid law, one Mr. Potato Head word in a dictionary. The philosophical ideas, okay, so breaking it down, the ideas in the mind that they've got that work together to create what they think about people, what they think about where we came from, what they think about what we are, who we are, where we're going, why, on what basis, by what standard, how do you know that? On what authority do you have to say that we can, that we should, that we ought, must, that we must to an extent that if we do not, we're legally culpable? Each one of those things, there's an idea about the world, an idea of humans, an idea of justice that's connected. It's a paradigm. It's a network of ideas that work together. And the thing is, not all of them are the same. Not just that they're not the same, but in my opinion, and I believe that this is a statement that one can defend in a powerful manner, I believe that the only one of those worldviews that makes sense of these things and is sufficient for the foundation of these things is the Trinitarian Christian worldview. Period. Full stop. Bottom line. Take me up on it. If you disagree with me, paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. Bring me on your show. We can talk about it. I'm serious. I ain't even messing around. Speaking of being on a show, I'm going to be on a show tonight with Timothy Flanders to talk about Donald Trump and why I think people should, in fact, vote for Donald Trump or vote at all, because it's going to be one of the things is whether or not people should even vote. Okay, we're coming down to the end. I want to say this. I said earlier this week, when I talked about Proud Boys, and I love talking about these guys. Yeah, I got my reasons. Yeah. I denounced racism. Black leader insists Proud Boys are not white supremacists. Think about this for a second. See that guy? Yeah. Enrique Tarria. Thing is, he's the head of the Florida chapter for Latinos for Trump. He's the international chairman for the Proud Boys, and he's Afro-Cuban. Afro-Cuban. The fact that they even have to justify themselves on this is absurd. It is offensive. Enrico insists that the Proud Boys are not white supremacists. How many white supremacist organizations are led by someone in a racial minority? Like, how often does that happen? Again, not including Chappelle's show. And that's what makes it a joke, because we all go, oh, that's so crazy. That's impossible. They only let him be the leader because he was wearing a mask, and he was only part of it because he was blind. And they all laugh about it. And then they see this and they go, it doesn't matter. He's a white supremacist, racist. I denounce white supremacy. Well, there you go. I denounce anti-Semitism. I denounce racism. I denounce fascism. I denounce communism and any other ism that is prejudiced toward people because of their race, religion, culture, tone of skin. Had to get tone of skin in there. You're a little olive toned. Was that an orange man bad thing? Is that what you're doing? Enrique. Is that what you... Don't you love that name, though, Enrique? I wanted to name my son, I wanted his middle name to be Ignacio. Lucian Ignacio. But the reason I wanted that is I wanted to be able to nickname him Nacho. I'm not lying. Yeah. Wilfred Riley, another black guy, by the way. Okay, maybe he's a white supremacist. Wilfred Riley, who teaches political science at Kentucky State University, a historically black college, said the Proud Boys are not white supremacists. Oh, that's really interesting. Black guy teaching at a historically black college. The Proud Boys are not white supremacists. You must be misinformed. Why don't you go listen to all those white, progressive, liberal Democrats over there that will white-splain that to you? He said the group espoused a Western chauvinism, yes, philosophy, which is not the same as white supremacy. I said that on the show. I said that. Mr. O'Reilly is the author of Hate Crime Hoax, said his research shows law enforcement officials estimate that 10 to 20% of Proud Boys members are racial minorities. That's kind of amazing. And that's like 10 to 20% more than a lot of these liberal groups that are complaining that the Proud Boys are white supremacists. These people have zero. Like that meme I showed you guys. You got 120, 150 people on their knee, taking a knee with their fist up. And there's one black dude. And he's so embarrassed he's wearing sunglasses, looking around like, am I in the right place? I was here to see Mr. Riley. The Proud Boys, I'm here to get my Perry. The Proud Boys are openly right-leaning group, and they'll openly fight you. This is a quote. They don't deny any of this. But saying they are white supremacists, if you're talking about a group of people, more than 10% people of color, and headed by an Afro-Latino guy, that doesn't make any sense. That's the level, guys. That is the level of this. That is the, and think about this. You know how many people write with authority? White supremacists. They're just wrong, dude. They are very, very wrong. Very el stupido. I think that's Spanish. In Salt Lake City, Proud Boys members held a joint news conference Wednesday, a little bit ago, with a local Black Lives Matter leader to correct the record and denounce white supremacy. There you go. So how about from now on, whenever anybody even brings this up, and they say, Proud Boys are white supremacists. I heard weird crap about the guy who hosts Paleocrat Diaries. Heard about him? Show them this. Show them this. In a strange twist. This is on BET, by the way. Woo! In a strange twist in what has already been a strange week, Utah leaders of the Proud Boys have apparently joined up with an unlikely ally. Jakari Kelly, the leader of Black Lives Matter Northern Utah, which, for the record, is not affiliated with Black Lives Matter Utah, said, I had no idea who the Proud Boys were. I heard the words Proud Boys mentioned throughout the activist community, and I just didn't know who they were. And then I started to hear they were white supremacists. Yeah. Maybe you read that over at the extremely racist and embarrassing organization, Southern Poverty Law Center. Or the very anti-Christian, antichrist organization, the Anti-Defamation League. Maybe you heard it there. Kelly said that she found herself in conversations with men who were Proud Boys members and asked them about their purpose. The meeting ensued between Kelly, Thad, and the Proud Boys chapter president, who was only identified as Seth, in which they discussed myths about both groups. We came to realize we had more in common than not. In order to combat evil and racism and hatred in this country, we do need to be able to reach across the aisle and have these tough conversations that everybody is scared to have. Kelly said the Proud Boys she's met with are not white supremacists and considers them proud American men who needed a little bit of respect and education in order to bridge gaps. That is what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. saying to be in that place, to be in that middle ground and say, look, the BLM group there would believe that the Proud Boys, they need a little bit of education. The Proud Boys believe that she needs a little bit of education. Without that dialogue, without that arena where they can go and have that understanding of respect, using reason, using logic, using ethics, using words that we don't just make up and treat like silly putty and Mr. Potato Head. That to do that, look at what can happen. Seth isn't even a supporter of Donald Trump. I know a bunch that are critical of Donald Trump. Meeting and talking and having that understanding has allowed us to move forward with working together on police reform. What have I said? I've written articles about it. There have been state police investigations based on stuff that my friend Autumn FOIA'd and I published at my old website. 2 of them. And even people on the left who said this is some of the best journalistic reporting, especially the criticism of one of the investigations. It was just a series of questions. Nobody could answer. And old Trace Christensen at the Battle Creek Inquirer would never even have the knowledge to ask. And if he does have the knowledge to ask it, and he's just one of those goons that's like, I better not, throw rocks at that beehive. That's his problem. Maybe a degenerate. Meeting and talking and having that understanding has allowed us to move forward with working together on police reform. We understood there is some much needed police reform, so we found common ground. That also means that there's areas where they don't have common ground. But they've believed that they've gotten to a place where that area of common ground, it would be better to have that than to have none. And only the radical revolutionary spirit is going to say all or nothing. The whole enchilada, you better it's all or nothing, man. There's no working with people for common good. If I can't have every single thing on my list, I don't want any of it. That's some dumb junk. Yeah. Dumb junk, man. All right. I just want to say, man, I love you guys. I'm not even kidding. Somebody asked me, I've gotten some offers actually, right? I've gotten some offers in the past and even more recently that are kind of cool offers with work. And I thought about it and I said, the truth is, I love what I'm doing. I could make more, but I wouldn't be making more of a difference. And not just for myself, but also for my kids. People would say, well, you'd make more so you wouldn't have to work, quite as much and invest so much. And I said, you'd be able to benefit your kids without needing to do all that. And I said, do you not realize that the way that I work now, when my kids come home, they want to hear the funny stories right away. They want to see the memes right away. We don't let them. They got to, they wear super fancy little gold buttons and stuff, a crest. It's really cool, but very, very fancy. It's expensive, right? It's a demanding classical education, Catholic school. But the idea of seeing their dad working with all of his might and saying, I'm working super hard. You can see the fruit of my labor. And then being with them throughout the day and not having a boss call me, yo, bro, you need to come in right now. You need to come in. For me to say, no, I'm not. I don't even want that. I want to be able to do everything I've got, man. Wake up, do everything, right? Pedal to the metal. Right out of the gate. Bam! Hit it hard running. And then when it's over until they go to bed. And to me, you guys make that possible. You guys make this possible. And doing it 5 days a week I love it. And I made some promises over at paleocratdiaries.com. In fact, we'll go ahead and put that up right now. In fact, let me go ahead and scroll the memes up because meme time. So, yeah, you're going to need to see these. These are good. I mean, they're these memes are normally always good. Allie has let me down maybe one time. Probably blame it on somebody lower down on the old totem pole, but it's got to stop somewhere. But make sure, check out paleocratdiaries.com. Let's go to the memes here. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. paleocratdiaries.com. And if you go there, I posted a meme yesterday. It was a really cool picture. It was actually the thumbnail for yesterday's show. I was really proud of that. Not as proud of the one today, right? I did it really late, and I wasn't able to make a PNG out of it. But it's a cool blog, and it has in there what Allie has said I need to do. Allie has given me a number of things that I need to do, including making sure that every day when one of these videos are put up, that I make sure that that video is shared on the site. That every time one of my Paleo Cheese episodes is uploaded, which has been happening like Wednesdays and Sundays. Whenever there's like a guest and stuff. If there's not a guest, it's just Sundays. But sometimes we got it on Wednesdays. And we're going to have, on Wednesdays, that's when we're going to tuck in the video reactions to horror movies. They make me watch horror movies, and I turn off all the lights, and I'm by myself, and I'm afraid of a lot of stuff. And I'm biting my nails and having a good time, traumatized for life. But we're gonna post those. Okay, you can see the Jaws one to get an idea a little bit for that. They use stilled images and stuff. We're gonna have actual video clips now, and better audio with those video clips. Okay, so it's gonna be really cool. Same, close-up shots on the the faces and everything when I'm terrified, and the jump scares and all. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But I'll post those. So that'll be like Wednesday and Sunday. So you're gonna get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. On Wednesday and Sunday, you're gonna get something at night. And then if I'm on like tonight, when I'm on this evening on Meaning of Catholic, talking about whether or not people should vote for Donald Trump, well, when that's over, it'll probably be posted on Saturday. So you're going to get a whole bunch of stuff. And we have begun serious work on putting together the pictures that we need because they have to be certain sizes or they're not going to look good on things like shirts, bags, and cups. So if you are a member, and it's $5 a month, man. I mean, think of the stuff you buy and ask yourself, I know it is tough. Yeah, I like lattes, I do, but I'm making a sacrifice. I'm drinking them out of this. I'm making stuff at home in advance, trying to save some loot, So you replace one of those with, or one of those in a month with a coffee that you can get at the gas station. And guess what? You're not only contributing to the continued success of the show, but also to my kids' education. And that's going to be on the website as well, to show you when they memorize long-form poetry, when they learn new things in Latin, we're going to make it so that we make videos and we keep you updated so that you can understand to what degree it's a profound thing, the impact that even your small donation is having on children that are being trained to be future leaders. All right. So this one right here came from Brian Parker in Detroit. Again, if you want to go ahead and share any of these memes with me, paleocratdiaries@gmail.com, or, of course, find me on Facebook or Twitter. We'll be back with more news as soon as we make up some. Yeah, okay. That's true. Ancient Christian philosophy. It's a buddy of mine. In fact, I am part of the group over there. I don't do anything, though, but I'm there. Maybe for clout, right? Really, really great guy. One of the greatest guys I know in town. There's a lot of people in town. A lot of great people, too. Wife, did you buy more theology books? Me. A, it was an accident. B, I don't recall. C, you look pretty today. And D, you bet I did. I go with C every time. Every time. I was lonely until I glued a cup of coffee onto my car. Now everybody waves at me. That's actually kind of a funny idea. That'd be a funny test, to have a cup of coffee and see how many people, just, have somebody record it. Maybe duct tape a camera to your window so that you're not like holding your camera. By the way, I really don't like watching videos when people are driving. Like Ali Alexander will do it. And, Ali Alexander, he'll have his camera up like on the dashboard and he's driving, he's looking over at the camera and stuff. And I'm just like, bro, That stuff creeps me out, man. I'm always thinking, you know, if there have been accidents, dude, where people just straight up are like dead, you know, looking like that kid from Brightburn or like the uncle. I don't know if you've seen that. It's pretty gross, man. What is this one? What does it say? Let's see here. Y'all really want to get married and make love with the same partner for the rest of your life? Yes. Yeah, look at those. Look at those two. That was a small meme, man. The words were really small. I need to get like a magnifying glass. Or a monocle. Hold on a second, guys. Yo, Allie. Oh. It's dead. I just got... Oh. Oh. Hold on. It's dead. Oh. Oh, Allie, if you hear me on the monitor, you got to come down the stairs. You got to, because this is really, really important. Oh. See, this is actually really powerful, man. And this is the Femininity Friday, because we did Fanatical Friday. And I said there's going to be a little bit of that Femininity Friday, maybe a little bit the Breastfeeder Friday. Because we support the ladies here. You know, there's powerful women. Powerful, brilliant, right? Independent, faithful women. And they're changing the world. But I love this picture. Our Lady and Eve together. Let's see, what does it say? When the teacher is roasting you, so you bring up her lost custody battle. What? Who would do that? Me deciding what color of coffin I want. Look at it. Look at Shrek's face. That's great. The guy who dared me, but didn't think I'd do it, being Woody. The rest of our class. The demon who's followed me since I was 5. Oh, dude. What? When you're the first to finish the test, but you get a 30%. Oh, dude, come on. That's so rude. That's rude, man. But that guy is pretty dope. But he's not going to be starring in, you know, any Flash Gordon thing. It's kind of like when we talk about the bedridden, you know, diabetic and stuff, or triple amputee that's going to be Batman. Although, to be honest, man, I don't know if you guys have seen, what's the movie, man, where it's like the guy has no legs? Is it Dr. No Legs? What is it called? Something No Legs. Master No Legs? Anyway, it's messed up, man. The fight scenes in that are pretty intense. Oh, come on. Appreciate your elders. What? Appreciate your elders. Oh. Yeah. Recognize that face. Look at that handsome guy. Look at that handsome stud, man. I was like, what, 21? That's a shirt. That is a shirt, man. We need to get one of those. If you haven't seen that, there's a part of the Paleo Naughty videos. I need to have, like, I wish I had an alert button to, because the thing is, I have gotten word from an inside source that there is a good possibility, you can almost bet on it, that there is another Paleo Naughty expose coming out very soon. Maybe even over the weekend. Coexist. Yep. Convert. Yep. You like water? Yeah, I do. So you mean you already like 72% of me? Aw, that's cute. Levels of hell. Limbo, lust, gluttony, greed, anger, heresy, violence, fraud, treachery, people who steal memes and add their own watermark. Oh, yeah, man. Everybody does that, man. Go. Whoever made that one, no watermark on that. You know, go watch that thing about internet historian talking about the history of memes like that. Oh, look at this. This is over at Reject Degeneracy, Embrace Tradition. It's a Facebook page. There's nothing more admirable than when two people see eye to eye. When two people who see eye to eye keep house as man and wife, confounding their enemies and delighting their friends. Homer from the Odyssey. When someone enters your room, switches on the light, and leaves without switching it off. Oh my gosh, dude, yes. Look at that cat. I get mad. You know what's worse than that, though? Turning off the fan. turning off the fan, dude. My kids have figured out that's how to get Papa up. If you need him to wake up because he's got to get down to his show, he doesn't want to pull that whole waking up at 9:40 thing again, ever. Allie let me down that day, man. I let myself down. I need to get one of those alarm clocks that's got, the bells and stuff on. Because again, ones on my phone, even the ones that are like, this is the loudest alarm clock ever. No, it's not, man. No, it is not. I've tried them. Nonconformist in the 80s, nonconformist in 2020. Yes. And look at it. I love those outfits, man, by the way. The one on the right. The one on the right, man. Love those heels. You girls do good. Don't let the media dictate what is important. Yes. Yes. Man, who's picking these memes, man? Who up there? Allie, who's picking these memes? Yeah, I like this intercom, but dude, it came either defective or just the battery was bad, or maybe okay. In fairness, maybe I left it on overnight. I was playing with it all night. ACP again. Me buying a full price Summa Theologica. Spending $20 on clothes. Yeah, people who know me know that's true. I'll wear the same. Like, I'll have just a handful of shirts and a handful of pants. Oh, look at this. Memento Mori. I say that at the end of every show, guys. At the end of every show. I would love to have that as a pin for the show. And maybe have it in that, the pink and kind of that aqua color. What would you call that? Like a teal? For the show? Who put this there, man? That's actually my drawing. That's mine. Oh, it's a meme-ified thing. Okay, so, all right. The one on the left, this is the story real quick. We're cruising along. That is a little lamb, right, that I drew. The one on the right, and it's a character. I draw cartoons and stuff. I like drawing cartoons. For my kids, I thought about doing a coloring book. Maybe Paleocrad Diaries coloring book. That'd be kind of dope. For the family, the kids. And the one on the left, my daughter, Samantha, she used to want to, draw stuff like me. And so she would take my sketchbooks and she would draw examples of things that I've drawn. So she would kind of look at it and try to copy it. And it looked basically exactly like this. I have the original and we drew it together, but it essentially, in fact, I think this is hers. I think she drew it with pencil on this piece of paper. And so I drew that sheep right there, the little lamb guy. I drew him. And so, yeah, memeify that. What would you put on that? Especially in light of the whole conversation with the goats and stuff. Maybe the one on the left is the one with the prosthetic legs. The world you were born in no longer exists. Do you feel that way? I know I do. Boyfriends do not get husband privileges. The end. Yes, man. Ladies, lay down that law. Lay down that law. It's better for you. It's better for men. It's better for the world. It's better for your children. It's better for your soul. The world needs you. The world needs you to stem the tide of degeneracy in our world. Build something worth defending. Look, you guys keep putting pictures of my house. You put pictures of my house together. I know you guys, yesterday you saw the outside with my, hot tub inside of a cove in the ocean. Sizes: Earth, Sun, Galaxy, Universe. Oh, my love for my daughter. Yeah, it's true, dude. Okay. Homesick for a place that doesn't exist. Yes, man. I lament that. I wish so badly that kind of stuff was, part of our existence. By the time I got to that age, it was Christian chat. Online. Yeah, let's go in Christian chat. Walking into your house on your birthday knowing there's something up with all your friends being mysteriously busy. Yeah. Or my friend's birthday on Christmas. Oh, Nate missed, dude. That is, ooh. He always thought that was dope. Like it took a long time for that to sink in. It happened when he was older, and he realized it was depressing. I don't laugh at his expense, you know. Imitate me as I imitate Christ. Christ, me, Paul. Okay, yeah, dude, look at me in the middle. It's true. Yes, man. Dude, this is good, man. I like these memes, guys. If you want to make a difference in the world, it means that you have to be different from the world you see. Yeah, look at that mom with all those kids, man. Look at that mom with those kids. She's doing good. She's doing good. So your total comes to 5 tummy rubs. Dude, look at the cuteness on that dog. Look at the cuteness on that dog. Is that dog driving, though? Okay. That's now a little bit freaking me out, guys. A little bit freaking me out. Though not nearly as freaked out as this. Aren't these the whole gender neutral Barbies or some crap? Isn't that a dude? They put the black guy in a dress. These people, Chappelle, you're ahead of your time, brother. Save whatever you can. Yes, man. Family, land and home, books and culture, ballerinas. Even the men. We can save them too. Yep. They're basically built like Greek gods. Oh, that's the way. Okay. Hath not God made foolish the wisdom of this world? And that's a meme in honor of the presuppositional method, 1 Corinthians 1:20. Reclaim the elegance we lost. You know, people can give me flack for this, but I'll tell you what. You know, if I have to pick and say, well, you know, what do you think? What do you think's prettier on a lady? You know, a pair of jeans. You know, one of those. What are they called, man? Leggings, like the sport leggings that the chicks wear. That's like my least favorite style, maybe ever. It wouldn't be nearly as bad if they had those warmer socks that are real poofy, but they don't wear those. Hardly anybody does. And these women wear that stuff, and then a baggy t-shirt and some crap, a belly shirt, or that, you know, where the ladies are dressed very, very beautifully, looking elegant and sexy. Yes, by far. Me, after doing one 10-minute home workout, fitness is my passion. I kind of do look a little bit like that guy. Maybe. I'm working on it, though. I'm working on it. And by the look of the picture on the right, man, that kid looks like he's working on gaining even more weight. He's obviously, maybe he's like an all-you-can-eat. He kind of, the face on the right looks a little bit like the dude on Pee-wee's Big Adventure, right? The bad guy. Doesn't he a little bit? Pee-wee. He wanted the bike, remember? He was eating the gum. It was all, you know, black ink in his mouth. They aren't obeying my stay-at-home order. I could distract them with little avatars. Let's do it. Yeah, but you can do that with memes too. Stop pretending everything is okay. We can begin, by the way, with that. That's not okay, guys, by the way. I think we're coming up on the end here. That test was really hard. Friend, yeah, the problems on the back were really hard. The what? Okay, yeah. Have you ever done that where you're like, oh, man, yeah, I've done it. Tradition does not mean weak. I saw that meme recently, but now with that on it. Yeah. It doesn't mean weak. There should be bloopers at the end of horror movies just to let a person sleep in peace. Yes, it might make it so that I don't have to put on Super Friends or, you know, SpongeBob or He-Man and try to watch something that's going to calm me down. Because I do that, guys. I do that. I watch a super scary movie for the Paleo Cheese review, and I'm watching it, and I'm super scared by myself, looking around, wondering what the noises are. And then when it's over, you know, kind of like acting like I'm boss, like it didn't faze me that much. And then I try to go to bed, and I'm like, well, maybe I should just, you know, put on something funny for a minute. And lastly, go to church. Stop being a degenerate. And if you do go to, this can be both together or even separate. Because the thing is, there are people who go to church who are just degenerate. And we need to work on that and lift each other up. So, the weekend, everybody, thank you for joining us. It was an amazing week. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. I'm grateful for all of you. I'm serious. It's been an amazing time. Make sure, I'm going to go ahead and drop that over. Boom. Make sure that you check out all the different ways that you can connect with us. Of course, I have to emphasize paleocratdiaries.com. I have been, as I said, Allie has never lost an argument since 2002 with me. Always wins all the time, and there's a good reason for that. And so the thing is, the suggestion, you have to take it seriously, Jeremiah. You have to update your stuff, whether it's Paleo Cheese, whether it's Paleocrat Diaries, whether it's stuff about Team Tiny Dancer and the family and the school and Sacred Heart, or all of it. And I have a list. And by the way, the link's on there. If you are like, well, I've never seen Paleo Cheese, or I've never seen you on Meaning of Catholic. And you can see me tonight, by the way. I think it's tonight. I think it's live streamed. I think 7 o'clock on the YouTube channel. If it's not there for a live stream, I don't know when he was going to share it, but I think it's live streamed. I'm pretty positive. But if you haven't seen it, at paleocratdiaries.com, those links for that have links to the playlist that I've created for all of the shows for Paleocrat Diaries, all of the shows for Paleo Cheese, all the appearances on Meaning of Catholic, all the appearances on different shows with interviews, and, of course, all of the Team Tiny Dancer videos. If you're interested in interviews, I'm working on that over the weekend to set it up so that I can begin having them. It'd be nice to interview people and to have, people on, not just like-minded either, but people who might even really disagree with things that I've got to say, and have them on as well. Or if you'd be interested in having me come and do speeches at your organization, your church, whatever, the school, I've done universities and things like that, make sure to contact me, paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. It is the most sure way. I've been getting memes there. Really excited about all the memes that people are sending me, and I'm really grateful for each and every one of you. Okay? So, until next time, never give up, keep on smiling, and memento mori. If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off.
The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge, and maybe a funeral procession.